Hello and welcome to the B Button, episode 44, baby. And it's me, the host, Baron Marf, joined as always with my compadre in arms, the one and only Angry Link. How art thou, sir?
Do you know, I'm still thinking about that whole driving a zombie. You know, obviously he was just talking on the sound test. Yeah, still, just popped into my head.
It's not quite right. So, much gaming this week?
It's been a busy week.
What, you've been playing video games?
Yeah, quite a lot of video games, in fact.
Wow.
Well, I started with GTA Online, as is always the go-to. Only it's been a complete dick this week, so I was just tapped out. So I've been playing some Forza Horizon 3, because I've just got an enormous amount of stuff to do on that still. So
that seems to be like the underlying message. Whenever I speak to you, I mean, you were in a party the other day, but you were just kind of talking to yourself quietly, and you were talking to yourself, but you were on Forza, and you just went, "Oh, there's just still so much left to do." I was like, right.
It's one of those. It's a good game though. It is really good. Rock Band 4 as well.
Yeah, baby.
Good again. Bought the tunes, to give them a mash out again. Also tried out Trove. It's a free-to-play, third-person, Minecraft-ish RPG.
Xbox or?
Yes. Yeah, Xbox One, that is.
Okay.
It's also on PC. I'm not too sure if it's coming to PlayStation 4. I'd imagine it will do at some point. But yeah, it's basically the three things that I took from it was you fight, you collect, and you build.
Right, okay.
You can claim little patches and build, craft stuff. So there was that. But I've had a lot of time for Sword Art Online this week. Obviously, I picked up Hollow Realization, which is the latest in the series.
That's the most current one, right?
Yeah, from Bandai Namco. I did that when we were talking about it earlier.
Bandai
Namco.
Bandai Namco. Yeah. I like that.
So yeah, I've been playing a bit of that. Also, I picked up the one that was ported from the Vita because it was on the store for like £4. So it's just some serious amount of hours. I mean, it's a proper numbers-driven JRPG, sort of MMO. The way it's set out is think sort of Phantasy Star in terms of like the layout of all your field and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot to go through on those two games.
Do you are you actually going to play them?
Yeah,
considering the amount of hours required.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of getting away from GTA for a bit.
Funny that. We'll come to that later.
Yeah. So also give me an opportunity to try Dragon Quest Builders, which I just saw as Minecraft with a point.
Okay.
So it's not bad actually. You go run around smashing shit up.
I mean, Dragon Quest is massively loved, isn't it? It's huge IP this one. Yeah. So, what this just they've done some sort of variation of it where effectively it's what Minecraft?
Kind of, yeah. Your character has to rebuild the world. You're the only person that can craft things, basically, and then off you go. No. It's only a short demo, so it didn't really give you too much in the way of details, but it's a good little eye-opener, see what it's like. I'm tempted to pick it up once I've finished a few other bits and bobs.
Cool.
And the last one, which we're obviously going to expand on later, is Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
It's just a batshit mental, Shenmue-like sort of RPG action story-driven game.
Perfect. Is
my quick summary.
Cool.
How about yourself?
Gears. It's been Gears, hasn't it? It's at least so.
And again, for you as well, an attempt at GTA.
Yeah, at GTA.
I mean, GTA, Gears.
Well, when I have been on GTA this week, whilst you've been suffering, mine's been reasonably okay. But then when I can't play with the people I want to because they're suffering, it's still the same effect. So, so a bit of GTA, but also just because we were talking about it last week, it's Tekken Tag 2. I went straight back to that. Couldn't help it. Realised I hadn't done a lot of the arcade storylines. It's an excuse to just play characters you maybe wouldn't usually play as.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Cool. That was pretty cool, all in all. But yeah, some things have been limiting my gaming abilities this week. More of that later. Look, let's bust on over to the news.
I think we should get to it.
To bullet bills. Bullet Bill's Big 3! Woo! I love a bit of news. And talking of the news, what we got for our first bullet hole, Link?
Well, Square Enix were teasing early in the week an announcement, which was then followed 24 hours later with said announcement that was teased. But it was a biggie. They've announced a publishing deal and a development deal with Marvel.
Wow.
So it's no longer the realm of crappy mobile tie-ins anymore. There's some proper serious big hitters behind a licensed property again.
So Square Enix, very famous for doing...
obviously the Final Fantasy series. They've obviously recently been behind the Tomb Raider reboots, Deus Ex.
Yeah, I mean they've done, but for me, that's where I'm at. I'm thinking if they go Final Fantasy style, maybe back to turn-based or something like that, I would love to see a Final Fantasy 7-esque Avengers game.
Yeah,
that would be the mud.
And again, you've got such an elaborate backstory of characters and plots that it's got that. You could structure a massive JRPG in the Marvel universe. You really could. But so obviously the first game we've seen is an Avengers game. This is from Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
This is obviously the Tomb Raider guys and gals. There's no word on a release. The only things we've seen of it is a brief trailer, which all it does is show off some famous Avengers
articles.
And that's about it really.
Basically it's Stark's glove smashed up, it's Banner's glasses cracked, it's the Captain America shield under a bit of rubble and a bit beaten, and that's it. And it's like
#reassemble.
They need to reassemble, right? Okay, it's absolutely nothing. It's just it's an announcement FMV.
Yeah, that's it. It's just saying, look, we've been allowed to do these things.
We've got our daddy paws on the Marvel universe now.
But I don't know. It's interesting though, because when we was discussing the stories for this week's podcast, sort of touched upon the point. It could be an interesting way to bring in some of the new, because there's obviously going to be new Avengers. We can't have. Well, we know that Disney won't be happy at having to sort of give Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans like $100 million each and stuff like that, because they won't want to keep doing this shit. So it could be an interesting way to bring in some of the new roster of Avengers, because obviously you've got Hawkeye's been replaced, obviously Iron Man's been replaced, Banner's been replaced.
Captain America gets replaced by Bucky, doesn't he, as Winter Soldier for a period of time.
Yeah, and Falcon as well is a new one. So yeah, there's lots of scope for them to work with. So, never know. Could be something exciting. But.
Can I just say very quickly, #Michael Keaton as the Vulture, Spider-Man. Don't know what's going to happen with that, but Michael Keaton's brilliant, so can't wait. Cool. So look, busting over to our second bullet hole for this week, which was going to be a little bit about Ace Combat 7 being on other locations, and I was all excited about that. Then I saw Dead Rising, and I was just like, it's Dead Rising, baby. 30th of January, we've got some new game modes coming, or some more difficulties. So 2 new difficulties. Haven't given all the details about it. They said you can expect things like weapons will break sooner, or enemies will hit harder, that sort of thing. Food doesn't give you as much life. But on the same day, and the bit that I'm a lot more excited about, is they're bringing in some Street Fighter skins into the game, namely 5 of them. They've only announced 4. So you've got in there a bit of Bison. You've got him dressed... Frank Wester's Zangief, just brilliant. Guile, of course, the hair, just very strong look. But the most disturbing, I think the one which is kind of burnt into my retina, and every time I close my eyes, I wake up in cold sweats over this image, is Frank Wester's Cammy.
With the traditional Cammy pose as well.
Back turn, showing his buttocks.
Off the AS.
Yeah. Just so wrong, so very wrong. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Can't wait for it, really.
The only thing I really question I had about it, are they just skin, or has there been any details or allusions to...
So far, they've only said they're skins. So they're just available in your usual costume, the game costume.
Yeah, don't really affect any gameplay.
But I really want to see some, I want to see a flash kick. I want to do a spinning pile driver on a zombie.
Nice.
That's what I'm down for.
Yeah, hopefully they do, but we can only hope.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So, look, busting over to our third bullet hole for this week, it's Ni no Kuni 2, isn't it, Link?
It is. Well, I know this is one of your sort of anticipated titles for 2017, hopefully.
Massively. Please come out this year.
Yeah, so we've obviously had some more details from level 5. So we've got the three main characters. You have 3 core. They are Evan, who is a young prince of the kingdom of Ding Dong Dell.
I love that Ding Dong Dell. Love the
And then there's the underground section, the Ding Dong Well.
Brilliant.
So he's thrust into his role of being king early with the untimely death of his father, but he's also then displaced via a coup. And
damn you, coup! Damn you!
Yeah. Then you've also got Roland, who is a 48-year-old ex-president from the real or our world part of Ni no Kuni. Obviously, Ni no Kuni is a parallel world or dimension, whatever you want to call it.
Fantasy realm, yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually, but in this world, in Ni no Kuni, he's a 20-year-old looking chap. But he eventually becomes one of the very close allies and confidants of Evans.
Makes perfect sense.
And then we're last but not least is Tanny, who was an orphan who was raised from birth by a man's space pirate by the name of Batu. So she's a bit of a tomboy, but you sort of do see that there is a feminine side to her.
Cool. I mean, Ni no Kuni, it is batshit crazy, that game. It's kind of like yes, very Studio Ghibli, very sort of, I don't know how you'd explain it. It's just...
It looks basically like an anime.
Yeah.
It's running, doesn't it?
But even from the background of like not the heritage, but the storyline, and the lore. It's very much, the canon is very almost fable driven, it's got that feel. It's not part of anything you recognise, but you kind of go, this could be a bit sort of fantasy,
There seems to be a real weight to the world.
Yeah, it's incredible how they fill it out.
Because there's going to be plenty of nods to the first game, but it isn't necessarily the same Ni no Kuni world. So it could be, i.e., according to the developer or the director of the game, it could be a parallel world or sort of like a different time, sort of 100 years later or 200 years later, something like that. But the actual game itself will focus more on Revenant Worlds, will focus on Ni no Kuni. So it also feature a kingdom building feature system. So that could be interesting.
Cool.
But there's a new core system replacing the familiars.
Right,
with,
okay.
Higgledies is the new thing.
So for those who don't know, in the previous game of Familiars, you had your main character, but obviously your familiar was like your entourage to a certain effect, and they buffed you in your skills in different ways. So they're not doing that this time. No,
well, obviously you've got the Higgledies, so it changes combat dramatically. It's taking it to a more of a real-time basis. So obviously, when you're on fields in the large areas, you'll have to activate battles by obviously running into enemies, like classic JRPG. But whilst you're in dungeons, the whole dungeon itself is the battlefield, so it's just a case of you see an enemy, you just straight away start wailing upon him.
Nice.
Obviously, you're going to have the Higgledies will be controlled with L1, and obviously you'll have various commands, like obviously attack, distract. But there's going to be several varieties or elements of these Higgledies. And again, like most of these things, you'll have like the rock, paper, scissors, elemental, sort of certain ones are better against other elements, that kind of thing.
What's against fire, fire against earth?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Against water,
So yeah, that's a bit of a new one for that. But they're also going to be used with certain parts of the game. So you'll use the wind one to create a platform to get into a previously inaccessible part of the game.
Higgledies, man, what a great name. That's
because you've got Higgledy-Piggledy, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's just one of those great words that
is a bugger for anybody to go, how do you spell that? Higgledy, amazing.
But say the story, obviously a lot of people not necessarily criticised it, but saw it as very much as a kid's story.
It was
purely basis from the fact that it's a child that it happens to. So they've got more of a more adult viewpoint from this story, and it'll be more, I think that the thing they said was accessible for adults to enjoy. And yeah, the last sort of couple of points was it will run on at 60 frames per second on PS4, but it's also coming to PC.
Cool, because PC gamers should get an opportunity to hit this game. I mean, the first game to me was just the benchmark of what games can look like. It was just phenomenally beautiful for it. So even now, if you go back and look at it now, you think, that's really impressive. I've seen a few images of Ni no Kuni 2, and it just looks better than most animated movies I watch.
To be honest, it looks just like a Miyazaki film.
Yes. It's got that kind of finish, like the finish on the grass, or any, do you know that glisten, that
there's that whole aliveness to everything. It's like you look at stuff like you go to the classic ones like Totoro and Poco Rosso and stuff like that. Every sort of aspect of the image and the world that you're watching, it seems alive and vibrant, and there's something like if you that if you was to be able to go into that little part of the grass, that there would be little cartoon
I think
ladybugs and stuff like that.
I mean, there's some games which give you that visual imagery in every part of it, like Inside is a great example.
Yeah.
Every point you stop in that game, you can say, grab the picture and
hang it on your wall.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I found that with Ni no Kuni, just at no point did you look around and go, looks a bit rough. Just everything beautiful. Beautiful. Cool. So there we are then, folks.
We get to finish on a happy point. Now we get to ruin that.
Yeah. Now we're going to get a bit beefy. Let's move on over.
Yeah, let's get this out of the way.
Grrr. What's a beef cheap mother... yeah, woo! And mostly frustrating week, Link.
Yeah, first part of it really is online problems that should not exist, but do.
And for me, more specifically, this is Rockstar and the Coalition. Get your shit together. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, because I've had an absolute dick of a time with GTA this week. To be fair, it's not just this week, it's been the past few weeks. I mean, constantly getting kicked from games. I'm losing connection to Xbox Live, even though I'm staying in the party. If I can then stay in the party there, that I generally, once I do get back into a game, I get kicked from the party or we get split up. It's just complete, utter bullshit. I mean, why is it that games that live by their connections just suffer so much?
I still say bollocks. I mean, I get that things like GTA, there's a lot of people playing it, but I don't give a shit. There's also a lot of people paying for it, which means double your server farms or double whatever you got to do.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, sort it out.
It's earned them fucking near enough $750 million.
If you've got pepper data centres up and down the UK just to give me a stable connection, you've got enough money to do it.
Yep.
Easily.
I think it's the annoying thing is it's not a console wide thing, because I've had no other problems with any of my other games. Whenever I've been in Forza, I've been in parties, it's been absolutely fine.
Well, we more recently have started ripping on Xbox for like the most stable network, But actually, it probably is quite stable. The bit which isn't stable is the specific games and their servers running it, and that's like I said, these are big games. The one thing that I can't get is that, so I always find like the shit that I get on GTA, I'm usually the first person to get it. It's like a storm comes to me, right? I start dropping out of parties.
You are patient zero.
Yeah, exactly. It starts with me. I start dropping out of parties. I start entering games, and I'm in a public lobby on my own. Or enter a game, there's 28 people in there who instantly just go, cheese pickler 45 has left.
And goes with the list up the left side,
yeah, and it's just like, so I get that, and then so I don't play it for a week, then my connection's stable, it hits you, and then I won't play it because I can't get in with the people who are also now having the shit that I just had for a week. I don't know, man. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see there's any other solutions really. I mean,
throw more money at it is the only solution.
Yeah,
throw more money at it.
I can't be fucked to piss around with ports. I mean, I even went to the point that I thought, you never know, there might be some ropey code on the thing. I'll reinstall it all. I'll delete off the system, reinstall it, blah blah blah, and see if that's. I've not tried it since, so I can't tell you if it's actually worked or not, but hopefully just something gets sorted out.
But why should it kick you? So this is how I say it, right? Xbox manage the dashboard and the parties and all that good stuff, yeah? The games manage the in-game experience connections, like your Call of Duty's multiplayers, Battlefields, all that good stuff, right? Why, when we are playing GTA, do we then get kicked out of a party, kicked off of Xbox Live, just by playing GTA? But if you play any other online games, no issues.
It's fine, yeah.
It doesn't happen.
I'm not technically proficient enough to be able to understand the problem or yet alone discover a solution. Well, but again, therethere's people that are paid far more money than I'll ever be paid to be these people, to come up with these solutions and whatnot. So yeah, for me, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on their end, because I've done my part. I bought the game, I play the game, and I've enjoyed the game. So yeah, the ball's in their court on that one, as far as I'm concerned. So because I shouldn't have to fucking piss around with the port settings on my fucking computer, on my router. Exactly the same with the Coalition, right? The same thing. I mean, they, be fair to them, they have thrown some stuff up, kind of saying, "Sorry, we've had network issues. We're working on it. Thank you for being patient." So I appreciate that they acknowledge it, and I know it's a temporary thing. Try and get in front of the problem. Yeah, so that's cool. But then they fix it. And yet there's still just loads of issues, like silly little things. They've just released, or they had just released a Luchador pack. Can you buy the pack? No. It gives you the option, do you want to buy a 1 pack? Do you want to buy 5 packs? Can you buy the pack? No. The pack is now gone. I could not buy the pack. And you would have bought the pack, probably the 5. Yeah. But again, like you say, it's silly little shit. And like you were touching on, the router bit. Why the flying monkey's nuts should I have to go look on a website, find the port specifically for your game, go onto my router, set up these rules on there just so I can play your game? Isn't that the point of having a console? It's standardised. Yeah, that's what I mean. It goes through the Xbox Live pipeline that handles it all. It takes care of everything. That's Microsoft's problem. That's why I pay my 40 fucking quid a year for. Damn right. It's not working. I've kind of got a right mind to go in a completely British middle class attitude and write them a stern letter. I'm going to write them a letter. But 21st century style, with an email instead. Nice touch. Or even better, email them and then get them to phone me back so I can have a go at them. Don't even write kind regards, just write regards. Yes. Oh, it's cold. Hopefully received with malice. Please find attached a picture of my disdain. Yeah. A stern look, yeah. So we've got a little bit more beef this week. We're not done beefing yet. No, I mean, it's only a little sort of chunk, just a little nugget on the end there, but it's limited stocks, because I've been umming and ahhing about pre-ordering day one for the Switch. Yep. And then obviously found out today that you ain't. All of the phase 2 have gone now as well, haven't they? I know all of phase 1 have definitely gone. Phase 2 is, hey, you might get it day 1. Launch window? Yeah, launch window. So yeah, there's that. But the one that I was really pissed off about was Yakuza 0. Yeah, man. So went into a game with my £45 or £50 because I thought, it's a game. Yep. And looked, it's in. This was the Tuesday, so for a very rare moment for me, a day 1 release. Yep. I was like, I'll go spend my money. Well, to be fair, I did look in Asda and Sainsbury's first to see if they had it, but they didn't, unfortunately. No. So I had to get a game. But yeah, I've gone in there, got loads on the shelf. Great. Walk up to the counter, because I know that there's not actually games in those cases, just the cases. So I've gone up there, I'll have a copy of Yakuza 0, please. He's like, of course, sir. Starts going around and he's gone that disappointing. He's disappeared once. He's come back empty-handed. He's disappeared twice. He's come back empty-handed. All of the times he's come back is to inform me, don't worry, there was none there, but I'll check somewhere else. I don't need to be informed on where you're checking. Just go and check them. Yeah. And bring me back a fucking copy. Which he failed to do. And, I mean, my biggest problem is fine, you haven't got it in stock. And it pre-order only. Just put something up in the fucking thing, because I wouldn't have even bothered going in there. I would have probably just gone online or found somewhere other store to purchase it from, which in turn was in fact the case, which I went onto the PlayStation Network and bought it that way. So I mean, I following your advice, I went to pick up a copy and went into game and they had it. Yeah. But it's just like so by me waiting a week,
3 days.
Yeah.
Then I can pick it up. And it's this thing about, guys, you've got a release window, right? You know what day you've got to hit. It doesn't matter if you delay the release, but you know when it comes out, it needs to be there.
Well, that first week is important to keep stock levels at its...
High sales week. Sales week.
You've got this thing, if you're going to get any big money or full money for your game, you need to have enough stock in that first week. And that's the fine line. It's getting the amount that you need right.
Which, funny enough, leads me on to the Switch, right?
Yeah.
So, the Switch has been announced. On the 13th, we had the big sort of reveal details about it. On the 14th, I went in and made a pre-order for one.
Yep.
I got on the phase 1s, which basically means you should get it day one.
Yeah. Supposedly guaranteed day one release.
Exactly. I've now gone back to the store in question and said, just to be clear, don't fuck me around now. Is it a day one release? And they said, yeah, although we have had a stock warning, so people are making orders now on your phase 2s. You may get it, but you need to get there early to see if anybody doesn't pick up their phase 1s. And I was like, right.
I don't know though, just to cut in on that point, if I was the phase 1, and like you say, I've been in hospital for 2 days, I couldn't get down to pick up the console, I've been ill, why the fuck did you get rid of my console that I've paid money for already? For you to hold it for me.
I'd wear a sling.
I'd fucking kick the shit off. I'd be on Twitter. I'd go to somebody. I was unable to collect my console, which I'd paid for, but they sold it because I was ill.
Store sells crippled man.
Exactly. I'd fucking console. Nail their asses to the wall.
Come out like leg in a cast, sling, wheelchair, the lot. Yeah.
Full body cast, the lot.
Yeah. What did you go in with? Tonsillitis.
But no, I don't know. It's one of these little things that they should have had when they did the first initial trailer, an initial pre-order, interest, mailing lists. How many people are interested? It's a quick survey before you've released it. Based on what you've seen, would you pre-order a Switch?
It doesn't matter, because the thing is even if they sold 500,000, and I'm just putting a stupid figure out the air, 500,000 in the first month, right? Make $1 million, because it's a games console. There's going to be lots of them. So really what it comes down to is, have you got your shit together with regards to manufacturing beforehand?
Yeah.
Right, well, if you're going to someone like Foxconn, if you're not, as the negotiator for Nintendo, going in there and saying, we want a flexible contract where you're going to run up 3 warehouses initially, or 3 factories to build us this shit ton right at the beginning, and then I want you to close down. If you're not taking that approach, are you seriously getting your business model right?
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Like going back to that point, that there's people that have been paid stupid amounts of money to take care of these things that sadly don't really seem to be doing their job, because publishers have worked this out a long time ago. Pre-ordering, and you can add little bonus accoutrements, and obviously certain stores which they want to keep in favour will get the better fucking pre-order bonuses.
Most favoured customer.
Exactly, but they've worked it out. If you want to find out how much or how many copies you're going to need to press, you get the orders in early as a good basis, because you've got, say, like if I didn't pre-order Watch Dogs 2, would I have been unable to buy it at launch? Of course I fucking would have. I'd go into game and can have a copy of Watch Dogs 2. Yeah, because they know, here's our, say, 2 million pre-orders, well, we'll make 2.5 million. Because those 500,000, for the next couple of months, that should be enough stock to carry.
But games are ridiculous, because, frankly, it's the same fucking PlayStation case as it is for every other game which is out there. All you've got to do is print an inlay and press a disc with specific code on it. Now, there are loads of places which can print inlays, and there are loads of places which can press discs. There is no reason for you to have a shortfall on a hard physical copy game week one.
Short of manufacturing materials being
force
destroyed.
Majeure. Force majeure.
But there is no excuse. I mean, I think that I've got a point which I wanted to make is, why can't stores, manufacturers and publishers sort it out? Because there is a clear breakdown somewhere.
I'm going to leave it on that note. Get your shit together, boys. Get your shit together. Right, look, let's go on over to Uncharted. There's a lot of niggles going on around here. It's quite a beefy, vexy week, isn't it?
But I've had a lot of gaming to take care of that though, so it's been good.
Good. Yin and yang. Like it. Silver lining. Let's shift on over to Uncharted. Uncharted territory. It's the gaming rambling zone, where we do ramble quite a lot, don't we, Link?
Yeah, well, we generally try to stay on point for the rest of it, so it gives us an opportunity to cut loose.
Stay on target, stay on target. So, anyway, this week we saw the release of Yakuza 0, as we alluded to earlier on. And this is an exclusive PS4 title. We thought we'd have a little bit of a roam around it, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive series.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the heritage. Where does it come from? It
started, obviously, in Japan, unsurprisingly, on the PlayStation 2 back in 2005, which saw the release of Yakuza. It was followed in 2006 by Yakuza 2. Mm-hmm. Then we had an offshoot one in 2008, which was Kenzan. That was obviously a feudal Japan kind of one, so a bit oldie-timey.
Cool.
That was for the PS3. That was the first one that came out. And then we had Yakuza 3 following up in 2009, also for the PS3.
Right.
Followed in 2010 by Yakuza 4 for the PS3.
They didn't breathe in between, did they?
No, there was a lot of teams working on them. A lot of teams, it seems. Then we had Kurehyu. I hope I pronounced that right. That was a 2010 release for the PSP, so the mobile one. Then we had a bit of a random one, I think as was the theme that year was zombies, or for those couple of years. So we had the Yakuza Dead Souls, released in 2011.
Right.
Then we saw a sequel to Kurehyu, so that was 2. That was 2012, also for the PSP.
Man, they are banging out the games.
Yeah. Then we saw a re-release of 1 and 2, and a HD combination for PS3 and the Wii U. That was also in 2012.
Crucially on the Wii U.
Yeah. 2012 also saw the release of Yakuza 5 for the PS3. Then for the PS4 and the PS3, we had in 2014 Ishin, which again I think is feudal Japan. Then 2015 saw the release of Yakuza 0. This is Japan, obviously.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Yakuza
Oh, good effort.
Kiwami.
Nice touch.
HD remaster.
Right.
So that's the first one, but that's going to be released over here as well this year. And then Yakuza 6. So both of those were the PS4. That was 2016. So obviously we've then got the Western release of Yakuza 0 this week, and that's where we've landed ourselves.
Damn, I mean, that is a lot of games in a very short period of time. So does this ever give you a little bit concern, like the churn kind of reflects the quality of the game? I mean they're not Call of Duty sort of funded Activision Cash Division Treyarch style.
And again, it's not like they've been released worldwide. Although a fair number of the initial main series have been released in the US. A lot of the offshoot ones and the PSP ones, like most things, they're the greatest PSP games, all Japanese, and they never see the light of day anywhere else. But the Metacritic scores for a pretty good average, other than Yakuza Dead Souls, which obviously was the zombie one. It was all around like the sort of low 80s, mid to high 70s.
Yeah, okay.
The average user scores, you're talking around, probably about 8.2, 8.3. So cool. It's a pretty well received game, critically and commercially, I think. Well, it's obviously commercially because they're still fucking making them.
Banging them out. Storyline, what's it actually about?
Yeah, well, the story you've got takes in the form of chapters, and it goes through the lives of 2 Yakuza or ex-Yakuza that are struggling to claw their way back from a series of unfortunate events. You have Kiryu, who was framed and disgraced, and then Mikaji was set up and disfigured.
Right,
so
okay.
You've got these 2 cats. Obviously, this is based in 1988, so it's a prequel to all of the existing games before it.
A la 0, right, okay.
Yeah. But yes, obviously you must then guide these 2 through these fictional regions of Japan, or late 80s Japan, through obviously quite vibrant, populated streets that are absolutely chock-filled with restaurants and entertainment venues and all of this kind of jazz. But then obviously you've got various gangs and stuff around to try and stop your progress.
When I saw the intro, it looked like there was lots going on.
Yeah, I mean the story is there's, like you say, quite a few Yakuza families and heads of that and lieutenants, and it's quite a long, elaborate, intriguing plot.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
It's looking forward to getting into that.
So what's the actual gameplay like?
Well, it's based around like the initial Shenmue games.
Right.
So again, that took the form of chapters, and you'd get to a certain point, you have to do a certain amount in that chapter, to then move on. Blah blah blah. But like I say, I was saying it before. It sees you going in these small areas. Well, they don't feel small, but you know they are small. It's only like it's half a dozen or a dozen streets, but because there's a lot in them, they do feel quite populated, and there's always something going on.
Cool.
But again, there's loads of side quests, arcade, restaurants. There's discos, karaoke's.
But I mean, are you Shenmue style, over the shoulder, third person fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's sort of RPG elements with, you can upgrade your characters. Obviously, you've got your different side quests and random people that ask you to do different shit. I mean, I remember there was one which I think got you intrigued, was the Bessusuru ring, which again, it's something that always remarks me about Japan, was the purchase by certain gentlemen of soiled lingerie and toiletries.
You've been very diplomatic how you're saying this, Link, but
basically panty sniffers.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, you've got again, choice of words is probably not the best, but you've got to crack this Bessusuru ring.
Nice touch. Yeah. So the second you explained that to me, I found myself turning around and walking back to the shop to purchase a copy.
You said you did have stock, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this leads me on to a question which I'm always concerned to ask now, which is, what sort of gamer other than me would be buying this sort of game?
I don't know. I was trying to think about this. I mean, thinking about things like the combat, which is a sort of fairly basic. To get back to the gameplay, I know it's a bit naughty, it's sort of very basic 2-button combo with sort of strong or light and strong attacks. But you've got your heat gauge, which then once you've built up, you get special moves.
So if you're comfortable with things like Dead Rising, for example, that's where you're going to. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, sort of going based on the Shenmue games, it's very similar in how they play.
Right. Okay.
But again, I'd say anyone who likes a story-driven game with a few dabbles of mental people.
Yeah. There are some nutty characters.
I mean, it's got a pleasant enough combo system. There's some really, really great moments because all of your money that you earn is driven by how well you can kick the shit out of people, basically. And there's forever hordes of gangs that are trying to attack you. Every time they see you in the street, they're just like, hey, there's the guy.
That guy.
And, yeah. Like the second character you play, I've not really even done anything, and people are just like, that's him. You're like, what have I done? At least the other guy, he's a disgraced Yakuza, so people want to kick his ass.
The guy's like, look at his slacks, get him, boys.
He's got an eye patch. He must be fucked up.
Get him.
But no, I would say it's a good looking game. It's not overly brilliant. It's very much like the Shenmue games. You can see where it's come from, but it's a pleasant enough presentation. I like the way the style they've delivered the story.
So I guess maybe a little bit of tangent here, but does it surprise you they've released this in the UK?
It surprised me that, having looked up how many have been released in America, that it's taken this long.
Right. Okay.
Because we've seen the first 5 on American shores. So why we haven't seen them over here? Because the PlayStation was a pretty damn big market for Europe. The PS3 back in the day. So I don't know. It's a surprise, but I'm glad it has.
So, I mean, this was what, 45 you said?
45, yeah. That was in store and on the network store as well. So
don't see that often.
No, that's it. That's why I was quite happy to pay. I was like, fuck you, I'd rather not have to be in a position that game will buy off me for £3, having then paid them 50 for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was quite happy to pay the 45 on the PSN store for it.
So, silly question, but there's lots of games out there at the moment. I'm literally stood there with the stick most time going, Link, buy Gears, Link. So what made you throw your hard-earned cash at this game and not something else?
It was a difficult one because I was saying earlier, obviously I played the Dragon Quest builders.
Yeah,
I was really intrigued by that. I really did enjoy the demo. So I was looking around at that, but then obviously I'd seen that this was dropping on the Tuesday, and obviously had some time off, and I thought, yeah, do you know what? I haven't haven't played a Shenmue kind of game. I really loved that game and how it played, so go for it.
You've mentioned Yakuza a few times in the past, actually. Yeah, I think it's something which always seems to be at the back of your mind and from an interest point of view as an IP. You seem to keep an eye on what they're doing with it.
Yeah, well, I've always liked the way that they delivered the Shenmue games in terms of the story. I mean, the only thing that's pissed me off about it is the fact that I've still yet to find out where that cheeky little bastard Landy is. Because I've still yet to give him a backhand for chopping my dad down.
How many years?
When was it released? 2002. So 14 years.
You'd be
15, 16 years by the time.
To settle it with Landy.
Yeah. And I'd best fucking settle it. I mean, I don't care that the story doesn't finish, but I need to settle it with Landy. I just need to get my fucking hands on him. Even if he beats me because I'm not strong enough, great. Now I've got the next game to become strong enough and have my Rocky montage so I can fuck him up finally.
You gotta do it, Rock.
Yeah, but again, digressing a bit.
So, final question for me then, because I always think this is a real acid test when it comes down to any video game. If you lost that game today, would you go out and buy it tomorrow?
Money no object, yes, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the way that, in American Pie, when Jim asks his dad, Eugene Levy, would he have fucked Nadia? And he's like, oh, no, but if I was at college, no, you're both college, and he's like, oh yeah, within a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's there imagining it, just like, yeah, totally, definitely. Why the fuck didn't you?
Yeah.
It very much in that kind of, I totally would. Because I've really enjoyed it so far. It's been massively over the top at points. And, I mean, you've yet to even... I mean, how far did you get into it?
So, literally, speaking to you yesterday, you were like, Yakuza, and I was like, cool, I'm down for a PlayStation title of sorts. Got it home, put it in, put the disc in, I was like, oh no, it's going to take ages. Just said a quick install, and it did it, like, in an instant. I was like, cool, brilliant. Got to the title screen, watched the intro, watched some dude grabbing some bird's breasts, and then I was like, this looks amazing. I'm knackered. I'm not going to soak this up.
Yeah, I would say
away.
It is very much a case of there are some like long expositions. And did you enjoy, or did you find it a struggle to sit through Metal Gear Solid 4? Or
yes.
There may be bits in that, but there's some funny bits. It's good.
Fuck balls.
But there is a lot of intrigue and plot twists, and there's some sneaky conniving bastards, and you've got to rat those dirty bastards out.
Cool.
So there's a lot to it, and I think it's could be a struggle to keep up with, but it's definitely worth cracking through. I just hope there's no cheeky bastard Landy.
Damn you, Landy. Anyway, so look, there we are, folks. Another fun-filled episode, and do you know what? Yakuza's on the list. Link, final thoughts for the week?
Going to be sticking with the PS4 next week, I think, but may have a bit more limited time as it's quite a busy one. But what about yourself?
For me, it's just can't wait to get stuck into Yakuza. Can't wait. So from Angry Link, it's
adios,
and from me, it's peace.